in your apartment alone. Then you hear something. You think, was it just the storm? You realize you're not alone. Your living room is not safe with Unhinged, the new immersive game experience brought to you by Netflix. To make it out alive, you must answer the phone. The question is, when your phone rings, will you answer? Tap the banner to play Unhinged now, only on Netflix.
By the time I hit my 50s, I'd learned a few things, like how family is precious. Work can always wait. And 99% of people over 50 already have the virus that causes shingles. Not everyone at risk will develop it, but I did. The painful, blistering rash disrupted my life for weeks. Don't learn about your shingles risk the hard way. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist today. Sponsored by GSK.
Hello, campers. Grab your marshmallows and gather around the True Crime Campfire. We're your camp counselors. I'm Katie.
And I'm Whitney.
And we're here to tell you a true story that is way stranger than fiction. We're roasting murderers and marshmallows around the True Crime Campfire.
In his novel, The Picture of Dorian Gray, Oscar Wilde tells the story of a handsome young man who makes a deal with the devil, his soul, in exchange for eternal youth and beauty. But there is a portrait of Dorian in the attic of his house, and as he moves through the years with his handsome face not aging, the portrait ages. And it also begins to show the poison seeping through him as he lives his life in soulless, selfish pursuit of hedonistic pleasures. He drives a young woman to suicide and doesn't feel bad about it. He becomes more and more of a toxic force in the lives of the people around him. And when his friend finally calls him out on it, Dorian murders him. He couldn't bear the fact that his best friend could see him for what he really was, the true monstrous face behind the handsome façade. It's a hell of a metaphor, and it's what we've said so many times on our show about narcissists, that they want to indulge themselves at the expense of everybody else, but would rather die than be exposed for it. Today's story is about a real-life Dorian Gray, a man who used his charm and charisma to lure in a talented, intelligent woman, only to throw her life into chaos and leave broken wreckage behind. This is Freefall, The Crimes of Emile Cilliers.
So, campers, for this one, we're in Wiltshire, England, Easter Sunday, 2015. Victoria stood at the open door of the little plane in her skydiving gear, ready to jump. She'd done this over 2,000 times before, taught other people how to do it, but for some reason this time felt wrong. That feeling of free fall, there was nothing else like it in the world, and usually it was a thrill for her. But now she just had a sick feeling in her gut. I shouldn't be here, she thought. I should be home with the kids. Victoria was just 6 weeks postpartum after having her second baby, and her marriage to husband Emile was not going great. She strongly suspected he was being unfaithful to her. Just recently, he told her he needed to think about whether he still wanted to be in their marriage. He said he thought they'd gotten married too fast. It might have been a mistake. She'd been feeling like a failure of a wife. It hurt. It was Emile who set up this jump for her. They were supposed to do it together, but at the last minute he told her he couldn't find a babysitter for the children. "You go ahead," he'd said. "This'll be good for you." Now, as she leapt into the bright blue sky, she could tell something was different about this jump. She was falling for too long. Her main parachute hadn't deployed. But she knew what to do. She cut away the useless chute and deployed the reserve. But right away she knew there was something wrong there, too. The chute had gotten twisted up somehow, and it was only barely inflated. Victoria tried to work on the twisted lines that were preventing the chute from opening, but she was spinning so fast and there was just no time. There was nothing she could do to save herself. She was just falling now, the ground speeding closer every second. There was the scream of the wind in her ears, then a sharp bang, and then nothing. Victoria Cilliers is a true badass, a physical therapist in the British Army who served in Kosovo, and she's a very experienced skydiver. At the time of the attempt on her life, she'd done over 2,000 jumps. She started skydiving after she lost her mom to cancer as a teenager. It was a euphoric thing for her. I read her book, I Survived, as part of my research for this case, and she strikes me as somebody who was always looking for ways to challenge herself. A person of great compassion for others, close with her family and friends. She'd been deeply affected by her time in war-torn areas and chose to use that experience for good by helping other soldiers heal their bodies. Her husband, Emile Cilliers, was a golden boy too, at least on paper. He was athletic and energetic and always happy to volunteer for whatever the army needed done. And he was an adrenaline junkie. His favorite sports were the ones that could kill you, like rock climbing and skydiving. Born in South Africa, he'd moved to England in 2000, leaving behind a girlfriend and 2 children, and worked odd jobs in pubs and whatnot for a while. He met a woman named Carly, and they got married, and over the next 8 years, they had 2 kids together. And then, seemingly out of the blue one day, Emile decided to join the British Army. He'd initially wanted to join the SAS, the Special Air Service, an elite regiment that specializes in counterterrorism, hostage situations, dramatic rescues, and the like, but he didn't. He signed up for training as a physical performance specialist instead. Aw, didn't think you could hack it in the SAS, hon? I agree. Sounds way too cool for you. Eventually, he rose through the ranks to sergeant in the Royal Army Physical Training Corps and joined the Army ski team. In the winter of 2009, Emile hurt his knee really badly while skiing, and that was how he met Victoria. She became his physical therapist, and part of that job is to create a rapport with your patients. In her book, Victoria talks about how she wasn't attracted to Emile at first. He was kind of a sullen, apathetic patient, and it took her a while to draw him out and get him to commit to his physical therapy. But eventually, they developed a friendship, and within a few months, they were dating.
It just so happened that Emile and Carly were having problems in their marriage around this time. They separated, and just like that, Emile moved Victoria into Carly's spot as his main squeeze. Victoria couldn't help but notice how he talked about his ex. Carly was lazy, she refused to get a job, he'd never really loved her. He just stayed with her as long as he did because he wanted to do right by his kids. He made it sound like Carly had baby-trapped him. In hindsight, Victoria sees this as a huge red flag, but this time she missed it. They were in the honeymoon phase of their new relationship, and Emile was love-bombing the ever-loving shit out of her. And I think the first time you see something like this, it can make you feel special, like, oh, I'm the special one. She was crazy. And
yeah, absolutely.
After you see it, you're like, oh, wait, no, he sucks.
Yeah, if he talks about his ex like that, chances are he's going to talk about you like that someday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She said he made her feel like the center of his universe. Victoria had been married once before, and her ex-husband was the polar opposite. He was always working, and he held her at arm's length, so it felt good to have a guy devote all his attention to her. Emile seemed like a great guy. Victoria admired his energy and ambition, how he always followed through on his goals. He was like her in that respect, but there were some important things she wouldn't find out about him until later. Like the fact that he had 2 children from a girlfriend he had before Carly in South Africa. 2 kids he never saw, even though the kid's mom had moved to the UK and they now lived close by. And the fact that he was a train wreck with money. And obsessed with casual sex. But for now, it was all raindrops on roses and whiskers on kittens. Victoria and Emile were both sporty, active people, and they went on rock climbing and hiking adventures together, stuff like that. They had a lot of fun. In 2011, they got married in South Africa, so his family could all be there. And a couple of years into their marriage, they had a baby girl. Emile seemed like a model dad, proud as a peacock of his new little girl. The first trouble showed up in the mail, as Victoria started getting past due notices on bills.
Yo.
Emile was a big spender. He liked fancy cars, expensive clothes, vacations, fine dining. I guess that's what passed for meaning in his life. Pair those expensive tastes with a psychopath's impulsivity and inability to delay gratification, and you've got a recipe for mountains of debt. Even though he made good money in the army, a sergeant PTI makes about 40 to 45 grand a year in pounds, which is about 55, 60 grand US. Emile was deep in financial shit. And Victoria had had to bail him out countless times, even though he made more money than she did. Often these bailouts happened without her knowledge or consent. Emile had straight up stolen 6,000 pounds from her, and she'd loaned him almost 20,000 more, which he pinky promised to pay back. Sometime. When he gets around to it.
Right.
He'd stolen one of her credit cards, too, and lied to her about it. Several times, he explained away his blatant thefts from Victoria by telling her the account got hacked.
Sure, Jan. Seems to happen to you a lot. Did you piss off Anonymous or something? Freaking moron. When Victoria filed a fraud claim with the bank, they were able to track down the IP address used for the transfer, and surprise, surprise, it was Emile and Victoria's home computer. Victoria stressed out a lot about his debts. She was drowning, trying to work hard enough to pay everything off while he spent his own money on God knows what. In addition to her physical therapy work, she made extra money as a skydiving instructor at a local airfield. Once, a debt collector from a payday loan company showed up at their house while she was home alone with the kids, and it really freaked her out. When the guy left, she called Emile, who just said, "Who cares? They can't do anything to us." Okay. Payday loans, y'all. I absolutely cannot. Now, don't get me wrong. This isn't to shade anybody who's used those payday loan places in times of need, okay? Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. But the interest rates on those loans are insane, like 300, 400% sometimes. Mm-hmm. It should be illegal. Yeah. And if you can't pay your loan off right away, you can easily get yourself into a position where you are never going to dig yourself out of that hole ever. I mean, just think about it. That percentage of interest, that's like, you're screwed. So Emile using them just for fun stuff, like fancy dinners and trips, is bananas. And as if all this theft and overspending was not enough, Victoria was starting to realize that there was another storm on the horizon. The first sign was something she would never have seen coming in a million years. She and Emile had hired one of their friends' 16-year-old daughter to babysit for them a few times, and one day the mom called Victoria and said that this was going to be awkward to talk about, but they had a problem. Emile had been sending some really inappropriate texts to her daughter. Stuff like, "Do you have a boyfriend? And you looked really nice today." Y'all, imagine how humiliating this would be for your friend to have to call you up because your creepo husband is harassing her 16-year-old daughter. Just, ugh. And when Victoria tried to talk to him about it, Emile gaslit her just like he had about the money stuff. "My phone must have been cloned," he said. "I'd never send messages like that. How could you possibly think that about me?" Cloned, really? Now, we can sit here as bystanders and think, girl, come on, get the hell out of there. But Victoria was a new mom, in love with a husband who, for the most part, had been Prince Charming so far. He was a loving dad to their little girl. He was always doing little sweet things for her, like cooking special dinners. She really did not want to believe that he would creep on a teenage girl. It just didn't seem to fit with the man she knew. So she let herself be persuaded. You have to remember that with abusive relationships, there are big, big highs and big, big lows. A lot of the time, Emile acted like a great husband, so when stuff like this popped up, Victoria could convince herself it was an anomaly. But that confidence didn't last long. Soon, she started to get a sinking feeling that Emile might be cheating on her. For one thing, he was always on his phone, and if she picked it up or tried to look at it, he'd snatch it away quick as lightning. That's always a red flag, right? He was very secretive in general. He seemed to resent her questioning him in any way about anything. And then one day, an email came in for Emile on their family computer, and Victoria just happened to glance over at the subject line, and it was from a sex club. Emile tried to hand her some wad of bullshit about it, like, oh, that's just spam, but it wasn't. Like, it was obviously like, hello, Emile, member of the sex club, you know?
Hello, gold member Emile.
Yeah, he was definitely like in the platinum club and the sex club. Ew. And it got worse. There were other emails too, like one from a woman who wrote, "I had a great time tonight." "Yeah, me too," Emile wrote back. "It's just as well there was that security camera in the car park. Otherwise, who knows what would have happened." Ugh. Ew. Like, I don't know whether that's like rapey or just an indication that he likes to have parking lot sex, but ew. What was his answer to this one, you might ask? My account got hacked. Emile, buddy, really?
He has one move. You gotta give it to him. Another time, she found a receipt in his pants pocket while she was doing laundry. It was from a nice restaurant and showed the bill for a dinner for two. The other person had ordered a salad and a white wine. Not to be stereotypical, but it felt like something a woman would get.
That's okay. I'm sure the receipt just got hacked somehow.
Definitely for sure. Victoria's previous husband had had a couple of affairs, and it traumatized her as it would anybody. And like any good narcissist, Emile used that to maximum advantage, scoffing at her for thinking he was cheating, calling her too emotional, says the man baby who threw a tantrum when she asked him a simple question about their joint bank account.
I know, right?
Victoria may have been emotional at the prospect that her husband was cheating, but her suspicions most definitely didn't come out of nowhere. Classic narcissist playbook, right?
Oh, yeah.
Emile had once been loving and attentive. Now he was increasingly cold and aloof. He lied to her a lot, like when she found cigarette ash in her car after he'd borrowed it and she asked him not to smoke in there. I wasn't smoking, he said. And he was always so offended that she dared to question him. He'd sulk like a toddler for days, punishing her for like having the audacity to like question him or be upset with him.
How emotional of him.
Right? Like this is total like Darvo, deny, argue,
Absolutely.
reverse victim and offender. Like to a T every single time.
Yes, absolutely. Campers, I don't know about y'all, but I'm doing my best to stay cool in this insane heat, and a big part of that is what clothes I'm wearing. You should know by now that a not insignificant part of my wardrobe is now made up of clothes from Quince. They make elevated essentials using premium materials like European linen, organic cotton, and washable silk without the traditional retail markup. Pieces like Quince's 100% European linen pants, dresses, and tops are the clothes you're going to reach for all summer long. They're lightweight, effortless to style, and start at just $32. Everything at Quince is priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. They work directly with ethical factories and cut out the middlemen, so you're paying for exceptional quality, not brand markup. My favorite outfit for summer is my Tencel jersey fit and flare dress. I have this dress in 3 colors. It's perfect for the hot, muggy days when you just want to sit around and drink mint juleps and melt. You can melt in style. So make your summer wardrobe feel easier. Go to quince.com/campfire for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. That's QUINCE.com/campfire for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/campfire.
My tap water tastes disgusting. I have hard water, which means that if I want pure, drinkable water, my choices are limited. Faucet filters really don't remove contaminants. Water bottles are wasteful, and hello, microplastics, or I have to lug around heavy 5-gallon jugs up my apartment stairs every week. But then came along AquaTrue, the countertop water purifier tested and certified to remove 84 contaminants, including chlorine, lead, forever chemicals, and microplastics. Its patented 4-stage reverse osmosis system goes way beyond ordinary filters for pure, healthy water you can trust. No plumbing, no installation. AquaTrue has been featured in Business Insider, Popular Science, and named Best Countertop Water Filter by Good Housekeeping. Join 98% of customers who say their drinking water is cleaner, safer, and healthier, and it is delicious water. Head to AquaTrue now and get 20% off your purifier using promo code CAMPFIRE. That's aquatrue.com, AQUATRU.com, promo code CAMPFIRE. AquaTrue even comes with a 30-day best-tasting water guarantee or your money back.
Take the guesswork out of pure, great-tasting water with this exclusive podcast-only offer now at aquatrue.com using promo code CAMPFIRE. He started being home less and less. To Victoria, it seemed like he took any opportunity he could to get out of the house for a few days. He'd volunteer for extra work, sign up for trips with his various sports teams. One time, he went on a trip to a skydiving competition, and Victoria saw pictures of him on Facebook, obviously drunk and looking awfully cozy with another woman.
Great.
When a Tinder match came up on his phone one night and Victoria confronted him about it, Emile pulled his usual bullshit. My friend signed me up for that as a joke. You don't trust me. How can we have a marriage when you don't trust me?
Hey, at least he's got another line, He's got two now.
Yeah. Technically, I do feel like that's like a subset of the hacking. Like my friend hacked my phone
yeah.
and signed up for Tinder on my phone. Like your friend signed you up for Tinder on your phone and you didn't delete it? Okay, sure, whatever. And I know y'all are like banging on the windows and yelling at your phones right now, but like a lot of people in these types of relationships, Victoria fell under the spell of all that gaslighting and denial. She'd get a bad feeling about something, but most of the time she'd stop short of confronting him about it. It just wasn't worth the tantrum he would throw, or the days of cold silence he'd put her through afterward. Like, it was like, in her head, the peace was the reward, so he had made it so uncomfortable to live with him
absolutely
being mad.
And you have to remember, too, that for a lot of the time that the worst of this was going on, she was a new mom. She was postpartum. Some of it, she was pregnant, like heavily pregnant. And she was working her ass off to try to support him and his freaking spending addiction. So, I mean, she wasn't necessarily getting enough sleep or in the right state of mind to really think this stuff through. And he took full advantage of that.
And probably not financially stable enough to leave him because she was trying to dig him out. Psychopaths are good at this shit. We have to remember he was creating these circumstances for her to be trapped. This is what he was doing. And he was doing it to some extent on purpose. Mm-hmm. Sometime around 2013, despite the red flags flapping in the breeze, Victoria and Emile started trying for another baby. But after a lot of trying, they weren't having any luck, so Victoria decided to see a fertility doctor. And as part of the treatment, the doctor sent her home with a little cup for Emile to, deposit a sample in for testing.
Yeah.
Emile was with a different healthcare network than Victoria was, so the fertility doctor said he could just get his sample tested with his doctor and have the results sent over. Emile told her he'd get it done, and when she asked about it a while later, he told her his results had been totally normal. Well, she said, my doctor needs you to give me something in writing from yours so we can move forward with the treatment. I don't have anything, Emile said. He swore up and down they hadn't given him any paperwork, and there was no way he could get any. Sure, bud. Makes perfect sense.
He should have just gone ahead and gotten it done, because, if there was anything wrong, he could have just said his balls got hacked. It's perfectly believable.
God, you're right. Because, his issue with it was, if it can't be me, I can't be my problem. God forbid.
It was a sack hack.
It was a hashtag sack hack. Actually, campers, make that a thing. Get on the internet right now. Hashtag sack hack.
So, Victoria was suspicious, but then a few days later, boom, she was late for her period. She'd gotten pregnant anyway, even before she'd started any fertility treatments. She was over the moon about it, of course, but Emile seemed weirdly detached. A few days after she got her positive pregnancy test, Victoria was looking for something in their car when she opened the glove box and out came the sample container from the fertility clinic. He'd never even turned in a sample. She thought about confronting him about it, but she figured, well, I'm pregnant anyway now. Is it worth the fight? Now, I know you're not asking me, Victoria of the past, but yes. Yes, it's worth the fight. I know you know that now, but yes. In November of 2014, with Victoria 6 months pregnant with their second child, Emile went on a trip to Austria with the army ski team. Hey, why not, right? It's not like his wife needed him or anything. And this is twice as gross as you think it is, too, because Victoria had had a really difficult, scary time with her first pregnancy. But who cares, right? I'm sure she'll be fine. Emile's first priority was his ski trip. And it was there, against the romantic backdrop of mountains and snow and hot toddies by the fire, that he met Stephanie Goller. And when I say met, what I mean is he went on Tinder and matched with her and they went on a date. God, this guy sucks. Stephanie was attracted to Emile, but she told him she wasn't about to be involved with a married guy. Emile told her he understood that, but it was complicated, you see. His wife was horrible. She'd had an affair on him, gotten pregnant by the guy. So they were technically still married, yes, but they'd been separated for months. A divorce was coming down the pike soon. Despite this being a line older than those prehistoric cave paintings in France, Stephanie believed he was sincere. One night during that Austria trip, Emile texted Victoria, "I need to decide whether I want to be in this marriage. I think we may have got married too soon." Victoria was gutted. She cried so hard she was afraid she might hurt the baby, which just breaks my heart. That was the saddest scene in the book. It's just so sad. In the months after the Austria trip, Emile and Stephanie saw each other as often as possible. Emile went back to Austria to visit her. He spent New Year's with her in Berlin, while Victoria went to a friend's party, alone and depressed. They met up in Prague for a long weekend. Emile was smitten. He told Stephanie he'd do anything to be with her, that she was everything he needed. But he was worried about how his wife would react if she found out he was already seeing another woman. She could damage his career, he told Stephanie. "My marriage was a stupid mistake," he texted her in January. "I regret it every day, and I'm going to get out of it soon." In another text, he asked, "Can I be your Mr. Grey?"
Ugh.
As in Christian Grey from 50 Shades. Yeah. Take a moment to vomit if you need to. Emile often spent the night at his army barracks. His excuse to Victoria was that the commute was a pain in the ass. It was 45 minutes, BFD, but of course this left him free to do whatever he wanted for the night without his wife knowing. And in February of 2015, the week of Valentine's Day, Stephanie came and visited him there. Stayed for a week. And Victoria had no idea. The very next week, she gave birth to their son. Instead of reveling in his new baby, Emile focused on staying in touch with Stephanie, telling her over and over how much he loved her, how she was the one he wanted. This is what this prick was doing while his wife was in labor. He was in the room texting his mistress. This man needs a date with the wood chipper. At some point in here, the lovebirds must have had a conversation about Emile not being free to be spontaneous with Stephanie, because one of the text messages investigators uncovered from around this time said, "From April onwards, I'll be able to do random and spontaneous." Remember what month this episode began in? Was it April? Yes, it was. Seems like our guy already had a plan.
Why do these dork-ass losers always give their mistresses their murder timeline? This is like the 80th episode we've done like this, where the guy's like, "Don't worry, baby. Yeah. On April 30th of next year, after that date, we'll be together."
And then he doesn't think that she's going to maybe look at that a little bit askance when she sees that his wife just died. Really?
I'm assuming maybe in his head she'll think it's romantic. But first of all, okay.
Yeah.
No judgment to Stephanie. Maybe a little judgment to Stephanie. This man has 6 kids. This man has 6 kids and has left every single one of their mothers. That is the red flag. I can't judge Victoria because she didn't know about 2 of them. But this woman knows about 4 of them at least.
Well, I don't know if she did or not.
Oh, you're right.
It's not clear. I mean, maybe, but he lies every time he opens his mouth.
God, lady, if he has a brand new baby and he's talking to you, fucking run. Know, right?
But see, he told her that the baby wasn't his because he told her that Victoria cheated on him, remember?
Yeah.
You're right.
So,
I don't know. I guess I'm running on the mentality of everything he says is a lie. So I'm just like, why does she believe him of anything? If he's still at the house with his wife, why is he at the house with his wife? If she's a cheating woman that made him a cuck in his own home and is bearing another man's baby, why is he still there?
Yep, absolutely.
Put his feet to the fire, Stephanie.
Now, the most amazing thing about all this is that his infidelity was not limited to his new squeeze Stephanie. Emile was also sleeping with his ex-wife Carly. And he hired sex workers like it was his second job. He didn't use condoms with the sex workers either. He'd text them stuff like, fancy some bareback fun? No, Emile, I fancy strapping you onto a trebuchet and launching you into the sea. Gross.
That's like asking a lifeguard if they're down for some skinny dipping fun. Fun for you, a nightmare for them. So at this point, this champ's banging his ex-wife Carly, his girlfriend Stephanie, his wife, and a seemingly endless parade of sex workers and kinky folks from the swingers club he liked to visit, which we watched this one documentary about the case where they went to that swingers club to interview the staff about Emile, and y'all, all I could think about was what it would look like if somebody hit the switch on a blacklight in there. It looked well worn.
Oh, yeah. Like, you hear sex club, right? And you probably think, like, either like a dungeon or some, like, sleek, eyes wide shut kind of joint. Oh, no. This place was grim as hell.
There was cracks in the leather. I just can't.
Oh, yeah.
And he's not even cute, y'all. It's just ridiculous. If you want to see just how not cute he is, look up his YouTube channel. It's just Emile Cilliers. Lots of videos of him butchering various early 2000s pop songs on the guitar. It is cringe as hell.
And after all, you're my wonderwall. Shut the fuck up.
I saw a post that was like, the average American can't understand the British connection to Wonderwall. And I was like, maybe not, because I think that song's annoying. Like, but maybe they should listen to Emile Cilliers, listen to it, or sing it, butcher it. Also, who the hell has time for this? Who has the energy? We've said it before, narcissism must be like meth, because these people are always like this, just flitting over here and flitting over there, like little psychopath hummingbirds.
I know, it's wild.
How are there enough hours in the day for him?
I don't know. That's the most amazing thing to me about these stories, about these like serial cheaters. How do you have the energy?
Like, he's maintaining like 16 different relationships, and he has a job, and he has hobbies.
Yeah.
And he has
he's on like
6
3 or
kids.
4 sports teams and shit. Like, and he must have slept like half an hour a night or something.
Yeah. I don't know. We mentioned a plan. Emile's fevered little brain was firing on all cylinders, trying to think of how he could get rid of his wife. In addition to all the extracurricular loving he was getting, he was, of course, still in mountains and mountains of debt. That meant he had 2 big problems, and if Victoria wasn't around anymore, it could solve them both. They had life insurance on each other. If Victoria died, he'd get a payout of £120,000. It's not a lot, really, but we've seen people kill for less.
Oh, yeah.
Starting or growing your own business can be intimidating and lonely at times. Your to-do list may feel endless with new tasks, and lists can easily begin to overrun your life. So finding the right tool that not only helps you out, but simplifies everything as a built-in business partner can be a game changer. For millions of businesses, that tool is Shopify. Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world and 10% of all e-commerce in the US. From household names like Gymshark, Rare Beauty, and Heinz, to brands just getting started. Shopify has hundreds of ready-to-use templates that can help you build a beautiful online store that matches your brand's style. And you can tackle all the important tasks in one place, from inventory to payments to analytics and more. No need to save multiple websites or try to figure out what platform is hosting the tool that you need. And if people haven't heard about your brand, you can get the word out like you have a marketing team behind you, with easy-to-run email and social media campaigns to reach customers wherever they're scrolling or strolling. Start your business today with the industry's best business partner, Shopify, and start hearing. Sign up for your $1 per month trial today at shopify.com/realm. Go to shopify.com/realm. That's shopify.com/realm.
When you think like an athlete, setbacks don't stop you. But mindset alone doesn't get you moving again. That's where Icy Hot steps in. Ice works fast. Heat makes it last. So when the rest of the world settles because of a setback, Icy Hot accelerates your comeback with fast-acting, powerful pain relief. Icy Hot, you're so back.
One morning, while Emile was at work, Victoria was going about her morning routine when she smelled gas. She went to check the kitchen valve, and there was a little bit of blood around it. What the hell? She dialed Emile's number. "The gas valve is messed up," she said. Emile suggested she turn on one of the oven burners. Huh?
Yeah.
Fortunately for herself and her 2 children, Victoria knew better than to do that. "Are you trying to kill me?" she said. She was joking, but remember what we've said about dark humor. Sometimes jokes like that are prophetic, a way for a scary thought to find voice.
Mm-hmm.
Emile didn't find it funny. He went off on her. "Why would you say that? How could you ever think that? Blah, blah, blah."
Ooh.
Victoria really had been kidding, but his reaction took her aback. When she hung up with him, she called the gas company and they sent over a repair guy. The bolt had come loose, he told her. Should be fine now that he'd tightened it. Victoria looked at the little swipe of blood around the bolt and remembered how Emile had cut his finger a couple days prior.
Oh my God.
But as we tend to do when things like this happen, she put it out of her mind. She'd just had a baby. She had a toddler, too. She was sleep-deprived and run off her feet.
Ooh, and the kids were there for this.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Over the next week or two, Emile seemed to turn over a new leaf. He was much nicer to her, much more helpful and attentive. And one afternoon, he made a suggestion that made Victoria feel like maybe they were heading into a happier time in their marriage. He wanted them to go skydiving together, like they used to when they first got married. He'd find somebody to watch the kids for an hour or so, and they'd go have some fun together for a change. She was just thrilled. But on the day they planned to jump, Emile suddenly announced that the babysitter had fallen through. He'd have to look after the kids himself, but she should still jump. She needed to do something just for her anyway. "We'll bring the kids," he said, "and we can all watch you jump. Now, I want y'all to remember this." He wanted to watch this, and he wanted his children to watch. When they got to the airfield, Victoria realized her own parachute had an expired part in there that had to be replaced before it would be okay to use, so she rented a parachute. Well, Emile rented one for her. At one point, he took their toddler daughter to the bathroom, and he was gone for a bizarrely long time. When he came back with the rented parachute slung over his shoulder, he had no explanation for why he'd been in the bathroom so long. The weather was bad that day, and after all that, the airfield management announced that they wouldn't be doing any flights for the rest of the day. Victoria later said she felt a strange mix of disappointment and relief, but Emile told her, "Come back and jump tomorrow. We can just put this rental parachute in your locker." Sure, she said. "Let's just go home for now." The next morning, Victoria went back to the airfield. She loved skydiving for years, but today she just felt this awful sense of dread. She did not want to jump. But when she texted Emile and told him she might just come home, He encouraged her to go ahead and do the jump. You just need to get back in the swing of it. You'll have a great time. Come on. So with every instinct in her body screaming at her not to do this, Victoria gritted her teeth, got her rental parachute on, and boarded the plane. Emile hadn't left anything to chance. He'd disabled both of the parachutes in the rig the day before, the main one and the auxiliary. He knew how to do this because, he was a skydiver too, and he'd worked for a while packing parachutes for extra cash. He removed these little connectors called slinks, crucial parts that attach the canopy lines to the harness. And we already know what happened next. Victoria quickly realized there was something wrong with the main chute, tried to deploy the extra one, and plummeted to the ground at full speed. If you can manage to find anything lucky in this story, it's the fact that she just happened to land in a freshly plowed field where the ground was soft enough to absorb some of the force of her fall. Her slight build helped too. A fall that would have killed most people hadn't killed her. When the witnesses reached the spot where Victoria had landed, they were shocked to find her still alive. Medical help arrived quickly in the form of a helicopter. She was airlifted to the nearest trauma center and rushed into surgery. The fall had broken her pelvis, several vertebrae, and most of her ribs on the right side. It collapsed her right lung, damaged her bladder, and for the first few days in the hospital, the doctors were afraid it had damaged her spinal cord as well. Fortunately, that wasn't the case. But she was in excruciating pain all over her body, and when she came to in the ICU, Emile was there, just kind of staring at her. He seemed annoyed. "We've been waiting here for hours," he said. Sorry. Over the next couple weeks, Victoria's family and friends visited every day. Guess who didn't? Emile's absence was so conspicuous that people commented on it. Like, if my wife was going through this, I wouldn't leave her side. People were actually saying stuff to her, which was embarrassing for her. Victoria just had to lie in her ICU bed, bored and lonely and missing her babies and mortified that her husband didn't seem to give a shit. The only time he bothered to hang out with her in her room was the day the hospital psychologist came to talk to her. Didn't want her spilling any marital secrets, huh, asshole?
Victoria was in the hospital for 3 weeks, a testament to what an absolute badass she is, since doctors originally told her she'd be there for months.
Mm-hmm.
Back home, still recovering, she was over the moon to be back with her children. But Emile was still acting weird and detached. And then Victoria's whole world got turned upside down. The instructors at the airfield had been baffled by the accident, and they'd gotten hold of her parachute and launched an investigation. And what they found made their blood run cold. It looked very much like somebody had sabotaged the chute on purpose. They contacted the police, and it didn't take long for Emile to be arrested on suspicion of attempted murder. After a while, the Crown prosecutor added a second count of attempted murder for the gas leak, which they considered his first attempt on Victoria's life.
Absolutely it was.
In her book, Victoria chronicles the absolute hell she went through over the next few years as prosecutors prepared for Emile's trial. He was out in the meantime, but prevented by court order from coming anywhere near her. She was raising 2 little kids by herself and still very much recovering from her injuries. And as the media picked up on her story, Victoria's life got even harder. Some of her old friends sold stories to the tabloids about her.
Yeah, can you freaking imagine? Like, what an absolute betrayal. Sold the stories. Like, oh, gross.
Yeah, what the fuck is wrong with people?
Ugh.
And because she didn't come out and say she thought Emile was guilty, because she argued with the prosecution about a few of the details of the case, people assumed she was standing by her man. People were rough with this woman. She was a moron. She was a simp, a disgusting liar for trying to defend him at his trial, and on and on. People sent her nasty letters in the mail, which is just so much effort. That's so crazy to me. I can't even muster the effort to leave a nasty comment on like a video that I hate. Like, I'm like, yeah, whatever. It's fine. I can see where the bafflement came from. I mean, I remember when this happened, and I remember thinking, oh my God, this poor woman actually thinks he's innocent.
Yeah.
I felt pity mostly, but there was maybe a little bit of judgment in there too. But her book does a good job of explaining why it took her so long to realize Emile really had tried to kill her. Up until the trial, she'd had suspicions about Emile's infidelity. I mean, she knew he'd cheated on her, but she had no idea the extent of it until she watched his trial. She didn't know he'd been making plans to move in with Stephanie. She didn't know he'd told her he wasn't their baby son's father. She didn't know about Carly. She didn't know about all the sex workers. And she didn't know about how bad his financial debts were either. People need time to process this kinds of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy for us to sit here and armchair quarterback her like, oh, I'd never stick up for him or whatever. The fact is, you don't know that unless you've been there. Victoria had been through just monstrous amounts of trauma, and on top of that, she was raising her kids as a single mom and having to deal with the heartbreak of losing her husband. I mean, what do you want from her? She needed time.
Of course she did, and I hate that people made her feel like crap for not just immediately getting on board with the idea that this man that she had loved for years had tried to murder her twice. And the first time, with the gas leak, he tried to kill the kids, too, and he'd always given every indication of being a loving dad. So she needed a minute, she gets it now. And it really wasn't that she was standing by her man in the time leading up to his trial. That was a misperception. She definitely was not. She just needed to put all the facts together in her head, separate the truth from the tabloids, see the evidence laid out in all its entirety, and realize what a liar and manipulator he'd always been from the day she met him. By the time Emile was convicted and sentenced, he got a minimum of 18 years in prison, and the judge roasted him to ashes. It was awesome. You can read his statement online. By that time, Victoria got it. I have nothing but sympathy for this woman, and I hope she and her kids are making a wonderful life without this pathetic streak of filth that almost took them out of this world. And I wonder, at the end of the day, what makes somebody like Emile get married? I mean, nobody's forcing you, dude. You don't have to marry anybody ever if you don't want to, so why did he do it twice? I'd be interested to hear y'all's thoughts about that on our socials. Like, do you think there was a time when he thought he loved Victoria and he married her in sincerity? Or do you think she was just a useful tool for him? Somebody to bear his children and take care of him while he ran around and did whatever he felt like? What's the saying, a nurse in a purse? If that was the case, then she was just as mundane to him as a reliable car, just something to maintain so it can keep providing the service you got it for until you get tired of it and want to trade it in. Could she have just been cover for him? Part of the convincing mask that many psychopaths wear so well? I don't know, but I feel pretty sure that Emile is incapable of real love. People will say about a man like him, he doesn't love anybody but himself, but I don't think he even loves himself. He feels to me like a desperate man, constantly running from something just deep, deep inside himself. Something that scares him to death. Like Dorian Gray. Shame, probably. Insecurity. His whole life was about overcompensation. So why Victoria? Why'd he pick her? Well, for one thing, she's a good person, and giving, and selfish pricks love those. But also, narcissists will often pick exceptional people as partners. People who are really good looking or athletic or financially successful, because that's currency for them. This person's impressive and they're with me, so that makes me look good. At first, the narcissist may lavish this person with attention and affection, but at some point, the novelty is going to wear off, and thus begins the next step in the cycle of narcissistic abuse, devaluation. You go from the center of their universe to the gum on the bottom of their shoe. And then, oftentimes, the cycle begins again. Apologies, love bombing, promises to do better. Victoria got to experience this firsthand after Emile went to prison. This man had the nerve to write her letter after letter after letter, begging her to come visit him in prison, asking if she was going to stay in the marriage. "You're all I have left," he wrote to her. Yeah. Take a second to yell whatever you need to yell. I'm right there with you. You're all I have. Are you kidding me? And there's nothing more infuriating to a narcissist than having the person they've worked so hard to break down finally stand up and see them for what they are. Finally say, no more. You are irrelevant to me. That hits them harder than anything else in this world can. And I'm happy to say that Victoria got there in the end. She stopped responding to his letters, stopped answering his calls, stopped trying to get answers out of him, because she finally realized he was never going to tell her the truth. She moved on with her life without him. And as for Emile, well, he's still sitting in prison, a pale shell of the charmer he used to be, alone with his lies. Now, before we go, don't forget about our 2 amazing live shows coming up. First, we've got Summer Camp, September 10th through 13th, an amazing 4-day festival in Equinunk, Pennsylvania, hosted by Dan and Lindsay Cummins of Time Suck and Scared to Death. We'll be performing live alongside them and the podcast Astonishing Legends, in addition to a roster of awesome stand-up comedians and local bands. Go to badmagicproductions.com for more info and to buy tickets. Then we've got our True Crime Cruise, Crime Wave 2.0, February 8th through 12th, 2027. If you want to come to the Bahamas with us and some of the biggest true crime and paranormal podcasts in the world, like Case File, Sinisterhood, True Crime Garage, and Scared to Death, here's what you gotta do. Tickets are on sale now, but they're 90% sold out at this point, so if you want to go, make sure you get over to crimewaveatsea.com/campfire and book your cabin. You'll get $100 off plus a private meet and greet with us. The great thing is you can pay all at once, or you can pay it off over time. So get on it, y'all. That's crimewaveatsea.com/campfire. So that was a wild one, right, campers? You know, we'll have another one for you next week. But for now, lock your doors, light your lights, and stay safe until we get together again around the True Crime Campfire. And as always, we want to send a grateful shout out to a few of our lovely Patreon supporters. Thank you so much to Lycan Lord, Claire, Jinxie, Rebecca, and Berta. We appreciate y'all to the moon and back. And if you're not yet a patron, you're missing out. Patrons of our show get every episode ad-free, at least a day early, sometimes more, plus tons of extra content, like patrons-only episodes and hilarious post-show discussions. And when you join the $5 and up categories, you get even more cool stuff. A free sticker, a rad enamel pin or fridge magnet while supplies last, virtual events with Katie and me, and we're always looking for new stuff to do for you. So if you can, come join us at patreon.com/truecrimecampfire.
Are you one of those media strategy people clicking through slides, scrolling spreadsheets? Yes? Good. This is for you. Because on Spotify, there's an audience that's different, locked in, loyal, invested. They're called fans. Fans don't just listen to music, they feel seen by it, like it belongs to them. So when your brand shows up on Spotify, that's who you're talking to. And you're right next to artists like me, Lizzo. So, are you ready to talk to fans? Spotify advertising. You're among fans.
Hey, it's Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. Now, I was looking for fun ways to tell you that Mint's offer of unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month is back. So I thought it would be fun if we made $15 bills. But it turns out that's very illegal. So there goes my big idea for the commercial. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan required. $15 per month equivalent. Taxes and fees extra. Initial plan term only. Greater than 50 gigabytes may slow when network is busy. See terms.